We need to get dark money. That's that hidden funding behind too many campaigns contributions. We need to get it out of our politics. We need to enact an 18-year term limit, time and term, for the strongest ethics reforms for our Supreme Court. We need to ban members of Congress from trading stock while they're in the Congress.
Do we, Joe Biden, who's been in charge as president of the United States for the last 4 years? I don't remember him ever mentioning how we need to do something about dark money during his 4 years as president. I don't recall him having any issues with members of Congress trading individual stocks. But during his farewell address, all of a sudden he has this come to Jesus moment and realizes that corruption within our government is a problem. Now, look, Biden has never been a great public speaker. I'm going to put that aside for now. Yes, there were lots of fumbles. There was a lot of stuttering. I'm not even going to go after him on that. I'm going to focus on the message that he's trying to put out there, because I think the substance of his speech, while, is true, the things he says are things I agree with. Fact of the matter is, these are things that he didn't fight for. These are things that he himself is guilty of. This is something that affects the Democratic Party just as much as the Republican Party. And I can't stand the fact that he used his farewell address to signal to the world that he's some sort of warrior against money in politics and the corruption that has essentially upended our democracy ever since the Supreme Court loosened regulations pertaining to campaign finance. Now, the outgoing president decided to call out money in politics. He even went after the military-industrial complex, which is hilarious, given how much he supported the military-industrial complex during his time in office. So look, in the clip that you just watched, he specifically talked about dark money. And I want to focus on dark money for a minute, because dark money is a problem. Dark money is when politicians are funded to the tune of millions of dollars in some cases, and we don't know who the donors are. They don't have to disclose the donors when it comes to regulations, essentially concealing these dark money donors. And interestingly enough, Sludge, fantastic publication that specifically focuses on corruption in politics, looked into dark money donors for the Kamala Harris campaign versus Donald Trump's campaign. Now, look, I want to be clear. I'm not mentioning this as a way of providing cover for Trump, because Trump took dark money as well. I've said on this show a million times that Donald Trump is a very transactional individual. And so you give him money, you do favors, he'll give you cookies. That's who Trump is. I'm not providing cover for him. However, Sludge did a comparative analysis based on FEC filings to see, all right, well, which of the two candidates is raising the most when it comes to dark money? Take a look at this. The piece is titled, "Harris Backed by 8.4 times more dark money than Trump." This was published by Donald Shaw, again, over at Sludge, if you want to check out this piece. But in it, he writes that super PACs supporting Harris have raised at least $195.8 million from dark money groups this election cycle, while those backing Trump have raised at least $23.2 million, according to a Sludge analysis of Federal Election Commission data. Now, this was a report from last October. After the election, I remember Sludge looking at the newest FEC filings, and Trump managed to close that gap between him and Kamala Harris a little bit when it comes to dark money. But even in the end, Harris far outraged Trump, not only when it comes to dark money, but when it comes to campaign contributions in general. So in regard to money in politics overall, not just dark money, Democrats massively outraised Republicans. The Democrats, their allied super PACs and other groups raised about $2.9 billion with a B dollars versus about $1.8 billion for the Republicans. And so now you're going to talk about the problem with dark money, Biden, on your way out. You don't have a problem with it as the election cycle was underway, as Democrats, including the Democratic nominee, were collecting that dark money cash. You're just going to do a virtue signal that you don't even really believe yourself on your way out to try to, clean up and launder your reputation. Like, it's just ridiculous to me. Now, look, Biden did a few good things during his term. He wasn't all bad. So I don't want to be completely unfair. His pick of Lena Khan as the chair of the FTC was something that I very much loved and wish was still going to be the case under the Trump administration. But no, he's replacing her. The other thing that he did was he did beef up the National Labor Relations Board. So it was actually, friendly to labor and actually fought on behalf of workers who were trying to organize their workplace, fought on behalf of workers who were victimized by their employer engaging in wage theft. These are the good things that Biden did. But these good things were really overshadowed by how he handled the war that Israel is prosecuting against Palestinians in Gaza. It was overshadowed by the fact that he didn't actually fight for many of the policies that he campaigned on, including reversing the corporate tax cuts that Donald Trump had implemented during his first term. And so I'm sorry, you want all of the glory, you want all of the credit without doing the work. And I get that some people expect me to come on this show daily and provide cover for Democrats. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell the truth. So with that in mind, let's get to the next clip where he talks about and fearmongers about America becoming an oligarchy. I
want to warn the country of some things that give me great concern. This is a dangerous concentration, and that's a dangerous concentration of power in the hands of a very few ultra-wealthy people. The dangerous consequences if their abuse of power is left unchecked. Today, an oligarchy is taking shape in America of extreme wealth, power, and influence that literally threatens our entire democracy, our basic rights and freedoms, and a fair shot for everyone to get ahead. People should be able to make as much as they can, but play by the same rules, pay their fair share of taxes. So much is at stake.
Now, in this case, in regard to the oligarchy, the only thing that the Biden administration can point to is Lena Khan and the fact that she fought to enforce antitrust regulations and prevent monopolies from forming. In that case, I do think that Biden has a leg to stand on. But let's talk about the issue of paying your fair share. Because the fact of the matter is, well, Biden absolutely ran a campaign on reversing the corporate tax cuts that Donald Trump implemented during his first term. Biden didn't actually do that. And when he made his first offer, his first proposal to reverse the corporate tax cuts, he didn't start from a place of strength. And I think that was very much on purpose. So if you guys can recall, Trump cut the corporate tax rate from 35% to 21%. Now, obviously, keep in mind the effective tax rate when you consider deductions and corporate tax loopholes is far, far, far lower, which is why you have very successful companies like Amazon paying literally nothing in federal taxes some years. Okay, and that was, of course, after Trump's corporate tax cuts. Now, when Biden was running, he said he's going to reverse it. Once he gets elected, he's like, I propose that we don't raise the corporate tax rate back to 35%. I propose that we raise the corporate tax rate to 28%. And then he went and hid in a corner somewhere, never to be seen again, okay? And didn't actually fight to raise the corporate tax rate to 28%. So which one is it, Biden? Are you worried about an oligarchy in America? Are you worried about too much corporate power? Are you worried about people not paying their fair share? Because if that was really something he was worried about, he would have actually fought to fix these issues during his time in office. But he didn't do that, did he? And he conveniently pointed to, Joe Manchin or Kirsten Sinema as the bad cops. Biden's the good cop. He's not going to fight for a damn thing. And when he gets backlash, he'll just point to the corporate Democrats who are ready and willing to raise their hands and say, no, 4%. The gap between the wealthy and less well off at 60%. Okay, 60% of Americans believe the Biden administration has made no progress when it comes to wealth inequality. Because guess what? They're right, he didn't. And let me just read the rest of it. When it comes to the economy, 59% say no progress during the Biden administration, and also the United States' position in the world. 58% believe that Biden made no progress on that, and also 51% feel that he made no progress on crime. By the way, during the same farewell address, Biden gave himself credit for lowering the crime rate. I'm just going to leave that there. Biden's net progress lags his three immediate predecessors significantly on national defense and the military, immigration, and taxes, and is also worse than Obama's and Trump's on the federal debt, the gap between the wealthy and less well off, and trade relations with other countries. The only area in which Americans feel that Biden has actually made some progress, or some progress was made during the Biden administration, is the issue of gay, lesbian, and transgender rights. So 39% of respondents feel that there was progress made during the Biden administration. About 31% say, nah, we've remained stagnant on that issue. And only 23% say that the country lost ground during the Biden administration on these issues. And finally, about 4 in 10 Americans, 39%, approve of the job Biden is doing as president, similar to the 37% he received in November and his 41% rating in late October. So Biden can do with that information what he will. It seems like he lacks quite a bit of self-awareness, especially since even in this late date, he feels that he could have beaten Donald Trump in the general election. If that helps him sleep at night, great. Go ahead and believe that. But the American people think differently.
Hey, thanks for watching that video. We really appreciate it, guys. And we appreciate it if you become members, because that allows us to be independent, honest, progressive, all the things that you don't get from corporate media. And all of that is because of you guys. Hit the join button below and become one of us. Become a young Turk.
Has appeared most uncomfortable on vital policy, detailed national security issue and matters of the law, which are directly potential to the job of hopes to told Democrats, including Linus and Tammy Duckworth, Hawaii and Mazzie Horneau, and Mikens and Eliza Slocum, were most effective to highlight the vulnerable of nomination while probing such areas. Duckworth asked Hexas to name at least one close US ally to the Association of Southern Asian Nations and how many countries were involved. Hexas started to talk about South Korea, Japan, and Australia, notice of which are the 10 members organization that includes two critical US treaty allies, including Thailand and Philippines. Hirono asked Hexas whether he would carry out an order from President